Creativity is a mindset. I think, in regard to creativity, when it comes to preconceived notions, that's something that you have to just throw right out the window and get rid of completely. The way that you think you're supposed to approach a project is only good as a reference and as a frame, but shouldn't be followed as rule or law. And if you kind of switch your mindset to use these things as references or framework and then try to do things more unorthodox and outside the box, I think you will come a very far way. Learning new methods and techniques are also something that I think should always be a continuous learning process through one's whole life, because I don't personally believe that you should ever stop learning in regard to your trade or creativity that will come from that. Because once you continue to learn new methods and techniques in your art, you're continuing to expand your own ability, but also creating more windows of opportunity of ways that you can blend and mix all of these new methods and techniques together to get more and more results. And mixing different styles together is how you can be even more creative and come up with something brand new and create sounds that someone may have potentially never heard before. Adding elements of your own personality is also something that can always be tapped in regard to your creativity, because at the end of the day, there's only one you in this whole world. And I know that may sound kind of corny, but that's the reality of the situation. And there's no one that has your unique set of skills, life experience, interests, hobbies, and such. And if you really let that shine in your art, people will be able to see that authenticity and gravitate towards it instead of trying to fabricate or create some sort of persona. It's a lot easier when you just put yourself into the work, and you'll find yourself getting in the flow state a lot easier. Anything is acceptable as long as you land the execution. And that's something that I wholeheartedly believe in. And ever since I started kind of living by that philosophy this year, I've seen my own art just tremendously evolve. And I'm just doing things that are so creative. When you think of that mindset, you don't stop and think, oh, I can't do this because of that, or oh, I can't. These two things wouldn't go together, you know? You just try everything, and then you decide whether or not you stuck the execution. Sometimes you may not stuck the execution, but also by doing this, I think it kind of molds you in becoming better at making certain things work and understanding why certain things work and why certain things don't work with your art. Don't define yourself in a box. I think that's something that is also very important. You have to somewhat have an understanding of what it is that you do or what it is that you want to do, but don't ever tell yourself that you can only do certain things. Yes, it is very important to understand your strengths and weaknesses, but at the same time, that doesn't ever mean that you can't step outside of your comfort zone or can't step outside of your own strengths. Things become strengths by repetition. At one point, your strengths may have been your weakness. And when you think of things like that, I think it really kind of will show you why defining yourself in a box can be something that's really harmful. Setting certain limitations to create alternative solutions is also something that I have been finding a lot of fun and joy in. I've been starting a lot of my beats and a lot of my projects with telling myself, these are the only things I'm going to work with. I'm going to use this drum loop, maybe this sample, and one vocal and nothing else. Let's just say, for example. And then I try to work around the whole beat and the whole song thinking, how can I use just these three ingredients and transform them and make them something new? How can I do something I've never done before? And then I start getting into a different thought process. Whereas if I was just grabbing a whole bunch of sounds, I wouldn't be putting my brain in that thought process. And that's just an example to explain what I mean by saying setting certain limitations. Out of limitations come unique creativity and unique solutions. And then out of these solutions become new methods that you can use in your art moving forward. So it's like you're infinitely creating more and more unique solutions. Envisioning the mood and scene of what you're trying to do with your art is also something I think that is very important. And when you do this, I think a lot of ideas may come to you when you really try to picture exactly what it is that you're doing. And that's another thing in regard to the mindset. What I'm saying is because you're literally using your mind to paint a picture. That's what I do personally with my art. And I don't even mean a literal sense of a picture. I'm talking about music, but I'm painting a vivid picture of a movie that I'm creating with music. And to some extent, I think if you kind of apply that to your own method, that you can come up with something really creative. Digesting different mediums and thinking of how you could use the influence of those and the techniques that they used in your art is also another method that I think goes a very long way. I try to watch a lot of movies, and I try to watch a lot of anime, read a lot of manga, which are things, I'm all just genuinely interested in. But when I do it, I kind of really try to pay attention and observe. And a lot of inspiration comes just by that. There are so many things in life, whether it be these mediums or just life in and of itself, that I think really speak a lot to you when you focus and when you allow your mind to be still, whether it be by meditating or just by looking around you and taking everything in, practicing stillness. You allow a lot of the creativity to come to you in your everyday life, just walking around the city or walking around the country or just anything, literally just sitting in a room. You'll be surprised by the things that come to you out of nowhere, it almost seems. And I think that actually might be the most important out of all of this. And everything I said, I was kind of referring to the mindset aspect, because all of these things are unique facets of your mind. And when you start looking at the whole as that, like I said, your creativity will really just expand in a way that you never thought possible. Instead of going into your art thinking, how can I be creative? Allow yourself to be creative. That's what I'm trying to say. You are creative. You don't have to be creative. You are creative. Everyone is creative. We're all unique individuals. It's not something you have to try to be. It's something you have to allow yourself to express. And that's my main point of this video. If you resonated with anything that I said, feel free to give me a like and subscribe. I'm an artist that goes by the name of Rico Carson. I make rap, electronic, and I also make alternative rock music. I also do film reviews on this channel, movie and manga reviews, and just talk about things I like in general. And if any of that sounds like something you may be interested in, there's a link in my bio with all of my music and socials as well. Have a good day.